Good afternoon, sports fans. It's PBnZ Sports Chaos, your weekly sports sandwich. We're coming at you again with our fantasy football episode. And this week, we are fueled by a little beer from the 413 area code from Master Jack.
Going way out west.
Crescendo, little IPA over there, Session IPA. All right. Hey, by the way, before we go on, I have to say a little shout out this week. We got a couple birthdays to talk about. PB and I both have daughters celebrating this birthdays this weekend, right? For me, it's number 1A, as we call her, Jackie Z. What do you got?
Olivia her birthday's actually today. She's turning 22, so happy birthday, Olivia.
Birthday.
How old's your daughter turning, Russ?
We won't talk about that G-money.
Oh.
Moving on. All right, hey. We're going to do a little 2-minute drill for you, and then we're going to move into our football stuff. We got a little football update, and we got a little fantasy football. We're going to talk about last year's best picks. We're going to talk about this year's top threes. We're going to talk about sleepers. We're going to talk about busts. And then we're going to pick a little fantasy mock draft between us and maybe a caller. We think we might have a caller on the show. All right, moving on. Hey, last night the Pats played. They won a nail-biter, 10-3. It was a defensive struggle. But they won. That's all that matters. But the news of the night was Patrick Chung getting arrested or getting indicted for his little transgression with some illicit drugs early in the summer. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Moving on. Hey, by the way, speaking of Pats, the Pats savior, A.T., after Tommy, Jimmy G, did not look good for the 49ers last week, boys. Did he at all? What do you think? Do they have a problem out there in San Francisco?
I think they have a problem. I think offensively they're going to struggle a little bit this year. And defensively, I think they've done some nice things, but I still think Jimmy G's got a little ways to go to really make an impact there in San Francisco.
I think you cut him some slack. He had major ACL surgery, so I think give him a few more games before we rush the judgment.
All right. Hey, little DYK. Speaking of baseball, we like to talk about a little baseball action. The Orioles, I know our fans down in the Maryland, Virginia area are not going to like this. They gave up the Major League Baseball record, 260 home runs in one season, and it's still going on for another month.
What's that, 2.5 a game?
Is that not good?
That's
horrible.
That's real bad.
Oh, my God.
That's like softball numbers.
Hey, meanwhile, the Red Sox won a game yesterday, 5-4. It took 12 minutes, 7 batters. The game was over.
What was that, $5 tickets?
$5
All the charity,
tickets,
though. That's
$100,000
to charity.
Yeah.
Hey, not good news for the Sox early in the week, though. Chris Sale shutting it down. At least he doesn't have to have Tommy John surgery, right?
It's always something.
Oh, man. All right. Anyways, hey, a little news for you guys. It's, what do they call, Players Weekend this weekend, where you can wear any name on the back of your jersey. Any name stand out for you guys? PB, you mentioned one.
Dusty Two Sacks. I love that.
What about Bend Over?
Bend Over as well.
Bend
Another
Over,
good one. All right. I'll go a little conservative. I like Nitro for Nate Avalti. Ooh, all right. You guys got some good ones. All right. Hey, little DYK. The Tigers won a game the other night against the Astros. It was the biggest upset in baseball history because they were a plus 435 at the start of the game. Earlier in the night, it was plus 560. I don't know what that means. I'm not a better G-Money. You're a betting man. But what does that mean?
That means if you put 100 on the Tigers, you would have won 465. Conversely, if you put 560 on the Astros to win 100, you would have lost 560. It would have been nuts.
Like a good bet for me on the other side, but
no, it's crazy. No one would have bet either side of those. That's our
and
Verlander
game. Was on the hill for that game for the Astros.
It was a 2-1 game. It was a good game, but it was a big
Baseball's
upset, apparently.
tough. Baseball's a tough bet.
Oh man! All right. Hey, speaking of sports, Tiger Woods did not qualify for this weekend's Tour Championship. He did not finish in the top 30 last weekend. I got to ask you a quick question. Tiger not winning and not playing any further. Serena bailing out of the Canadian Open last week in the final, and Roger Federer lost in the Wimbledon a couple of weeks ago. Is the three GOATs of the last probably 25 years in tennis and golf, are they all done ever winning a Master again? And that's Serena, Roger Federer, and Tiger.
Yeah. They could be. They very well could be. If I had to give a shot to one of them, I would say Serena.
She's 4-1 favorite next week in the U.S. Open. Yep. She is the favorite. I don't know. G-Money.
In my opinion, I think Federer gets one more.
You think
but
so?
I think the other two are done. I think it's over for them.
I personally think it's all done. I think the window's closed. All right. We'll see. Moving on. speaking of stuff that we like to bet on a little bit, you mentioned last week, G-Money, apparently you can bet on the Little League World Series. And the top dogs, Japan and Hawaii, are still in it. Japan's playing in the International World Series Championship or semifinal on Saturday. Hawaii's playing Louisiana. By the way, I picked Hawaii and Louisiana to be in the final, so I'm looking pretty good.
Japan's a juggernaut. You can't beat them. They're so disciplined.
So they're winning it all, you think?
Oh, yeah. Hands down.
You got anything on that, PB?
Bring it to the bank.
I'm not going to comment on the Little League World Series.
Is that where you draw the line?
All right.
Got to draw it somewhere.
Yeah, I guess.
Moving on, we're going to talk a little real football, and we're going to talk some fantasy football. I know you guys love the fantasy stuff. Hey, the Pats won last night, and as we said earlier, the little nail biter. Let's talk about that for a minute. What stands out in that game for you? Because there's a couple of positional battles, but anything stand out for you guys?
Well, first of all, as far as standout goes, I'm really impressed with the defense. I think the defense has played well all preseason.
Yep.
They've got some nice additions. I like Jawan Williams in the backfield, and I really, really like this Chase Winovich out of Michigan, linebacker.
Yes,
I think he's going to come in there with Hightower and Van Noy and Jamie Collins. That's going to really shore up that front seven that they've been lacking in the last couple of years.
G-Money.
I think Jared Stidham. I think I'm very impressed
You
with him.
like Stidham, huh?
The first
All
three preseasons, I think he's the heir apparent to Tom Brady. When Tom Brady retires, Stidham's the next guy.
Finally, we have
took us long
heir
enough.
apparent, huh? Ooh, all right. I got to ask you guys a question. So, to me, the two positions that I think are the biggest battles on the team, one is running back, second is wide receiver. So let's start with wide receiver. What does it look like for wide receiver for you guys, PB?
I think wide receiver is deeper. I think it's more competitive based on that depth, but I also think it's status quo. The Patriots do this every year. They bring in guys from all over the place, like an Eric Decker or like the kid from Tennessee a couple years ago, and they always just seem to kind of dwindle out. They don't figure out the playbook. They don't fit in right, which is why right now I have like a Demaryius Thomas getting cut, not making the team. Josh Gordon, I see him totally fitting right in. They played a lot together last year, as I called in last week and commented on. They'll be fine there. Maybe a Dorsett sneaks in as that last receiver spot, but that's where I see that going.
The depth chart, in my opinion, is Edelman, Gordon, Jacoby Myers. He's been very impressive. And then you get Philip Dorsett, and I think maybe they keep another one or two, but those are the four guys that you'll see the most reps out of.
Really?
In my opinion. Yeah.
All right. I think it's Jacoby is playing against Dorsett. I think one of those guys will get cut.
Yep.
And I think the comparison to your point, it's a Demaryius or Josh at the end of the day will get cut.
I think Demaryius gets
cut. Right now,
cut.
to your point, I think it's Demaryius.
Yeah. He's old.
We'll see. Let me ask you, the running back is even tighter, I think, because right now, if you look at that roster, you're looking at 6 guys that probably will be, including the fullback, Devlin, and the special team of Bolden, could be on the roster. Maybe, maybe not. So let me ask you a question, PB. Your thoughts on that?
I understand Belichick bringing Bolden back in because of what he brings to the table. He knows the system. He definitely makes an impact on special teams. But if he makes the team, that's what he's making the team as, a special teamer.
Right.
Because he's not going to be a running back. Yep. But he carries a running back title. So you have to sacrifice another depth position in order to keep him on the team, which would likely be potentially a defensive back, let's say.
Yep.
That could change with Chung going out now. Jawan Williams, is he going to make the team or not? So there's some things going on right now that have to really, get figured out before you can decide, can you keep 6 running backs? Right now, I'm saying no, let Brandon Bolden go.
Ooh, okay. G-Money?
I think you keep all 6. They're all uber talented. They all have their own niche in the system. And like PB said, Bolden can play special teams. So I think you keep 6 and maybe get rid of Hoyer. You don't need 3 QBs.
All right. Let me ask you a question. So if it came down, here's what I think, right? It comes down to this. Because this is what I'm hearing. This is some of the talk that's going on with the other sports talk heads. It's Damien Harris versus Sony Michel. Who do you take, PB?
I haven't seen enough from Damien Harris. I like what Sony Michel did last year. Damien Harris got hurt last night.
Yep.
I know he's got some talent there. Maybe long term, you might look at a Damien Harris being better, have a better NFL career than a Sony Michel. That potential's there. But just going off of what I know, I'd have to go Sony.
I agree.
All right. What about this? Burkhead versus James White. Because I have a feeling it's only going to be one of those two captains.
I like James White, man. You can't discount what he did in the Super Bowl a few years ago. I know you can't pay past performance, but he can catch the ball better than anyone on the team.
I think James White is just a tougher, resilient kind of back. I think Burkhead's a little bit on the injury-prone side. I'd keep James White.
My only concern is Burkhead was the man that played the end of the Super Bowl last year. So, you know what? But I agree with you. I like James White. All right, let's move on. I got a question for you guys. DYK, who was the last quarterback picked in the top 10 of the NFL draft did not play his rookie year?
Philip Rivers.
Philip Rivers. You're incorrect, but okay, nice guess.
I'll go with... Did one of the Manning brothers not play in their first year? I can't remember.
It's very possible it's not the last one,
okay.
because they're very old,
All right.
as we know.
Yeah.
By the way, it's Carson Palmer, 2003.
And then he played for Zona afterwards, right?
Yes, but he played for the Bengals.
Okay.
All right. Hey, speaking of rookie quarterbacks, out of the top 10, this guy, we laughed about it on draft night. New York Giants, Daniel Jones, drafted number 6, and we said, are they crazy? Right now, he's the star of the preseason. 25 out of 30, 400 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Will he start in New York?
Well, first, can I just say I'm starting to feel like I'm at Tribal Council on Survivor.
Who's getting voted off the...
One of us is getting voted off this show. But I think Daniel Jones can get himself a starting role this year. The question is when. Given the Giants' schedules to start the season, and given what Eli has shown at the beginning of the season in the last couple of years, I'm going to give it week 3, 4 before you see Daniel Jones coming in there, especially how he's playing in the preseason.
G-Money?
I think Daniel Jones will be starting by week 3. I think they'll give Eli a couple weeks, and he's going to blow it like he always does, and then here comes Daniel Jones.
Hey, by the way, speaking of quarterbacks drafted, we talked about this in our draft preview show. I said the Pats should take a flyer in the 5th round on a kid out of Northwestern named Clayton Thorson. And by the way, he's lighting it up for the Eagles down there. He will be the backup of the Eagles. So good for him, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
By default, because all their other backups are banged up.
You had to mention that, G-Money.
sorry.
Thank you. All right. Hey, by the way.
We have a caller.
Whoa, we got a caller again this
Number
week.
100?
No,
What does he win?
Hey, PBnZSportschaos, who's calling?
Hey, this is Frank from Walton, my long-time listener, first-time caller.
Oh, Frank, thanks so much for calling. Long-time listener, first-time caller. We appreciate that. Hey, by the way, Frank, would you happen to be...
Josh from KC, but I figure, you know.
Oh, Josh from
misrepresentation
KC.
out of the gate.
Look at that. All right. Hey, Josh from KC, thanks for calling. Good time, and we're moving right into our fantasy talk. Let's move right into it, gentlemen. I got to ask you guys, before we get into this year, 2019 fantasy, guys, last year, 2018, who was the top dog at quarterback in fantasy football? PB?
You had Patrick Mahomes with 417 fantasy points, way ahead of number 2, which was Matt Ryan.
All right.
Yeah.
G-Money, who was the top running back?
You had a tie. You had Shaquille Barkley and Christian McCaffrey at 386 points.
Was that Shaquille Barkley or Saquon Barkley?
Saquon. Yeah,
right,
you know
all
what? It's something Barkley.
What do you got for wide receiver, PB?
Wide receiver, you had Tyreek Hill and DeAndre Hopkins actually tied at 334, and just off that pace was Devontae Adams with 330.
Wow. All right.
Yep.
G-Money, tight end?
Travis Kelce. Kelsey. I have my own pronunciations. 295, and he was 15 more than Zach. It feels so good, it hurts.
Wow. All right. Kicker?
Kyle Fairbairn from
the Texans.
The Texans. Yep.
Thank you for not having me pronounce that one.
Wow. Hey, what was the defense?
The Bears. They beat out the Rams by 37 more points.
All right. Let me ask our caller, KC Josh. This year, going into the fantasy, who are the 3 top running backs for fantasy football going into 2019 in your mind?
Since you can't discount contracts, it's got to be McCaffrey, Barkley, and Kamara.
I agree.
I agree.
I'm with them.
Those are my top 3.
Across the board, you guys agree?
Yep.
All right. PB, who's the top wide receiver?
Just one, or you want my top 3?
Give me your top 3.
My top 3, I have Michael Thomas.
Yep.
In New Orleans, I got Devontae Adams in Green Bay, and I got Julio Jones with Atlanta.
I disagree. I agree on one, Julio Jones. I have Hopkins, Beckham, and Julio Jones.
All right. Well, then who's your running backs? I mean, who's your quarterbacks? I'm sorry.
I have Mahomes, Watson, and Rodgers. They're way above the pack. I mean, then it's a big drop off to 4.
KC, what do you think of the quarterbacks?
I think that Mahomes and Rodgers is right, but if you look back just 2 years ago, Carson Wentz was on an MVP tear, and if he stays healthy, he'll do it again.
Ooh.
Yeah.
PB, what do you
Well,
think?
my concern is his ability to stay healthy, so I'm going with Mahomes and Rodgers like the two of you, but then I'm going to slide Andrew Luck into that equation.
All right. Tight ends, what do you got? KC, obviously we think we know what you're going to pick, but what is it anyway? Tell us.
Well, there's only only 3 tight ends in fantasy we're drafted. It's Kelce, Ertz, and Kittle. Those are the only
Until the
guys.
8th round, at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm with them on that.
Yeah, right
PB?
across the board, same thing.
Same thing? All right. I got to ask you guys, I'll give you one only. Kicker.
I'm
Stevie?
gonna go Legatron. Greg Zuerlein out of
from the
LA.
Rams.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to Justin Tucker from the Baltimore Ravens.
All right. What do you got, KC? What's your kicker?
I'm safest pick is the best offense, so I'm going with KC's Harrison Butker.
That's because their offense is going to stall out this year.
Yeah. Is that what is
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. They're going to get tape on him. That's what's going to happen.
what's his name? Harrison Buttcake?
Butt cheeks? Harrison Butt cheeks?
All right.
All
right.
Butker.
Nice.
Butker. Okay, I got
All
you.
right.
Nice.
Hey, moving on. Oh, hang on. Defense. I'll give you guys one each. One defense. What do you get, PB?
The Bears.
G-Money?
I'll take the Packers. They overhauled their defense. They got 4 new guys in. I think they're going to have a big year.
Wow, that's a stretch. All right. What do you got for us, KC? Defense.
If you see a team that can rush the passer, and you look at Denver with Chubb and Miller, that's dangerous.
That's a good. They'll be top 5.
All right. I like that. All right.
Are we gonna do sleepers?
Yes.
Yep.
Sleeper. What do you got for a sleeper? Give me a sleeper, PB. Any position. What's your biggest sleeper this year?
Any position sleeper. I'm gonna go wide receiver Green Bay, Valdez Scantling. I like Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball. Right now behind Devontae Adams, he's the potential number 2. Him and Geronimo Allison could come out of
Geronimo!
that. Yeah.
I love him.
So
Where did he come from? I've never heard that name before in my life.
I'm not sure where he went to school, but
Is this his first year?
no, it's his second or
Yeah.
third.
All right,
yeah.
all right. G-Money, what do you got? What's your sleeper?
I like Devin Singletary from FAU. He's gonna
You
take
guys have
the
been
number 1
sleeping all
spot.
night, apparently.
FAU in the house.
You guys get 2
Yeah.
sleepers. Wow.
FAU, great school.
Great school.
CIA, KC, what do you got for a sleeper?
So I don't know if he's really a sleeper, except he was injured last year, and people are drafting him way too low. I'm looking at Darius Guy. You watched him run in that preseason game the other day. He is not scared. He is run like a madman.
You know what? I like what you're thinking there. Another one like that I got is Joe Mixon from the Bengals.
He could have a
Another
big
one.
year.
All right.
So, hey, what about bust? PB, who's your bust?
I'm gonna go Melvin Gordon out of
Yeah, that's a
LA.
good one.
I don't know if
That's
he's
an
gonna
easy
play.
one.
He's
That's an
going
easy
round
one.
2.
But people
He's
are taking him.
not-
People are taking him
Yeah.
second,
Top 3
third
rounds,
round,
yeah.
hoping he's going
He
to
may not
sign,
play this year, right?
which would make him a bust.
At least half the year he's going to miss.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you got, KC? What's your bust?
I'm going to take a group of people. If you take a wide receiver from Baltimore, you are wrong.
That's a good one. I like that. G-Money, what do you got?
Todd Gurley, take it from a guy that's had 4 knee surgeries. You don't come back from that. He's going to have a bad season. He's not. He's just too hurt.
You know what? My bust is Antonio Brown.
I agree 100%. That was my second pick.
The tribe
He's
has
a
spoken.
prima donna.
All right. Yes, we have the tribe has spoken. All right. Hey, let's do a little draft here. We'll pick 4 picks, right? A running back, a wide receiver, running back, quarterback, and a flex. KC, you get the first pick. Who you got?
Oh, that entire Carolina offense is going to go through Christian McCaffrey, and I want a piece of that. I'll take him number 1.
All right.
Good pick.
Christian McCaffrey, good pick. What do you got, PB?
I'll take.
No,
no, I'm second.
G-Money's up.
G-Money, go
Barkley.
ahead. Saquon
Saquon.
Barkley.
Saquon
He's going
Barkley.
with Saquon, huh? I'm gonna follow that with a little Alvin Kamara out of New Orleans.
All right, I'm picking this one. It's risky because he's not signed yet, but Zeke Elliott.
You just lost.
Oh, toast. Could be
We'll
toast
see.
there.
The
All right,
best
back to
running
you,
back in
KC.
football.
What do you got?
So I'm going to take the most explosive player in the NFL with the best quarterback. Give me Tyreek Hill.
All right. Yeah, I mean, hopefully he can stay out of jail.
All right, what do you got,
Well, he's no Patrick Chung. I'm sorry.
PB?
No, mine. I will take Hopkins, DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, I'll go the guy. I'll go with the guy throwing the ball to Hill with Patrick Mahomes.
Ooh, good pick.
All right, I'm going to go Julio Jones, the best receiver in football.
Top 3.
All right, back to you, KC.
So I'm going to take the number 2 quarterback. You can take Mahomes. I'll take Aaron Rodgers in that new Packers offense.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like it.
And I will take the hookup for my boy Hopkins, Watson.
Oh,
Deshaun Watson.
All right, that's a good one. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna stick with the New Orleans Saints and take my number 1 receiver on my board, which is Michael Thomas, who's still laying around right now.
Ooh, all right, QB. I'm going to take his partner for Julio. I'm going to take Matty Ice, the BC boy.
Okay.
What do you got, Casey?
So I've already got the number 1 wide receiver from last year, so I'll take the number 3 wide receiver from last year with Devontae Adams.
All right.
Oh, you got the hookup too. All right, I'm going to take this player just because I need to pronounce his name correctly and redeem myself. Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce.
Yeah, Kelce. All right.
Kelce. I got it.
All right, you got it. All right, I'll go with a little OBJ at this point. Hopefully, Baker can get him the ball a little bit.
Right.
And then, Russ, you're going to finish us off with...
I'm going to wrap it up. Juju Smith-Schuster.
Woo!
All right,
Getting
number
crazy.
number one target.
How about we put our money where our mouths are?
Yeah, $10 a guy.
$10 a
No,
guy.
no trades, no drops, no pickups.
Just 4-person team.
All right, and
you're doubling it, Josh? You want to go 20?
and
Yes, actually, I really do want to go 20. Let's
I'm
go
down.
20.
total points at the end of the year.
Yep.
$20 a guy.
Yeah, why not? Live a little.
$20 a guy.
Live a little.
Winner take all.
Winner take all.
All right, we're shaking on
Let's
it.
do it.
All right, next
Hey,
week,
thank
right?
you, Josh, for calling in.
Yeah,
And
thanks, Josh.
Next week we're live for our college preview show at Boston College. A little tailgate action.
We will be
Looking
doing a
forward to
tailgate
it.
show. It'll be
All right.
fun. It'll be interesting, and we're really looking forward to seeing our fans next week.
The Survivor Tribunal is out.
Yeah, the tribe has spoken.
Woo!